ICE raids continue throughout the country. It has ramped up in Charlotte, North Carolina right now. And what I'm going to do today is read you some excerpts from news articles that talks about what is happening with ICE across the nation. ICE, DHS, and Border Patrol have not stopped their roving patrols. They have not stopped their illegal stops and detentions. They have not stopped their renditions. They have not stopped going about America as if everybody were criminals and picking up people based on their skin color and their language and their last names is nothing if it is not racial profiling. And it is being done under the eyes and watch of the Supreme Court, which has allowed ICE to continue its procedures while the case goes through the courts. And Justice Kavanaugh's concurrence that says that it's okay to use race, language you speak, where you work, where you gather, as part of your reasonable suspicion analysis of particularized and articulable facts that point to illegal immigration activity ongoing somewhere. And that is not what ICE is following. That is not what they are doing. What they're doing is far more dangerous and far more intrusive to Americans' right against unreasonable searches and seizures. So if you go to Rachel Maddow on any social network or any social media account, you'll be able to see all of her posts about these ICE raids, and she is following the ICE raids across the nation quite particularly. And I would recommend that you follow her on any social media app that you can find her on. Just type in RACHELMA space MADDOW, and you can find her channel and you can find the references that she provides. Going to Miami, the Miami Herald reports that one day out of the year, Catholics around the world honor St. Frances Cabrini, a patron saint of immigrants who spent much of her life working with marginalized Italians flocking to the United States in the early 1900s. That day, November 13th, was Thursday, and in Miami, faith leaders and advocates for immigrants used the celebration of Mother Cabrini to call for more humanity in the immigration system and condemn White House's mass deportation agenda. After organizers read the names of 25 people who have died at detention centers across the United States since January, including 6 in Florida, Munoz encouraged the crowd to take the Cabrini Pledge, or a commitment to immigrants the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops endorse. So there have already been 25 deaths in ICE custody that we know of in the detention centers, including 6 in Florida. Mind you, these are notoriously opaque, notoriously blocked away detention centers where even members of Congress are not allowed to go in and carry out their oversight duties. And we know from this tight-lipped ICE agency and administration or regime of Donald Trump that 25 people have already died. Where is the accountability for 25 people already dying? In Charlotte, North Carolina, they were going after this man named Willie Aquatuno, and said he just left a Charlotte restaurant Saturday morning when federal agents approached him in his pickup, broke a window, and stole his keys. "Are you an illegal immigrant?" he said, an officer asked. Aquatuno recounted the conversation to a Charlotte Observer journalist at the scene. "I don't have to answer your questions," he said. He replied, Why don't you ask other people that? Why just me? Aquituno said he's already that he was originally from Honduras and had been a U.S. citizen for 6 years. There are, because of what is happening in Charlotte, North Carolina, Compare Foods, a grocery chain, has come out in protection of cities' immigrant communities and is offering free pickup and delivery of groceries through December 31st. So the holiday season, they want to provide whatever cover they can for immigrant communities. And so Compare Foods is offering them with free delivery services. After there was news that Charlotte has been invaded by ICE, hundreds of protesters gathered at the First Ward Park in the afternoon and marched towards Uptown, delivering a clear message to federal agents: get out. Rosa Ramirez attended the emergency protest with her mother, Martha Ramirez, who held a sign saying, "Stop kidnapping our neighbors." Immigrants are an integral part of our community and our workforce, Ms. Ramirez said, noting labor needs and contributions such as helping Western North Carolina rebuild after Hurricane Helene and other natural disasters. She said she believes immigration is a human right. We should be welcoming those here, and those folks aren't asking for anything but the privilege to work and to contribute to our economy in the same way that any American citizen does. In Ontario, California, artists are fighting back against ICE activities. A citizens group in Ontario is spearheading a unique and artistic effort to make the community aware of incidents involving ICE agents detaining and arresting undocumented immigrants. They are placing signs at the locations that read, "I stole someone here." The original idea behind putting up signs was to show people where these abductions were happening, said Michael Rios, who has placed 28 signs around the city so far. The immigration sweeps typically happen early in the morning around 6 a.m. It's before people are going to work, before people are taking their kids to school. They purposely do it when people can't see what's happening. And if you don't see it in the community, people aren't aware of how impacted we are by these abductions. Each sign also has artwork depicting a girl releasing balloons into the air. In Ohio, a man named Lam Simavana is a welder and a father of 4 who came to the United States as a child refugee from Laos 40 years ago. He knew that after Donald Trump took office and vowed the largest deportation operation in the United States history, his future could be in peril. The more than 24 letters, half of which were shared with NBC News, discovered that Lam is a loving family man who worked to serve his community and act as a mentor to others in his industry. So they're going after people who have been in the United States for 40 years. They're going through databases of the government and they're screening for people who have been here for decades and who have been productive citizens and are not criminals or threats to the community. And the communities where they are being detained and held are coming out and saying so to ICE and to the public, that these people who are getting detained and renditioned are not threats to our community. 404 Media reports, and I read a previous article by NPR that reports about ICE using surveillance. Well, 404 Media has reported that Google is hosting a custom and border protection app that uses facial recognition to identify immigrants and tell local cops whether to contact ICE about the person. while simultaneously removing apps designed to warn local communities about the presence of ICE officials. ICE spotting app developers tell 404 Media the decision to host CBP's new app and Google's description of ICE officials as a vulnerable group in need of protection shows that Google has made a choice on which side to support during the Trump administration's violent mass deportation effort. Google removes certain apps used to report sightings of ICE officials, and then they immediately turn around and approved an app that helps the government unconstitutionally target an actual vulnerable group. That's inexcusable, said Mark, the creator of Eyes Up, an app that aims to preserve and map evidence of ICE abuses. So Google is not only taking down apps that are meant to notify people about ICE spotting and where ICE is going, they are actually making an active choice to help ICE by providing them with software, with tech, with apps that allow them to spot immigrants. And it is kind of this facial recognition surveillance state that is growing in America inward towards Americans, towards citizens and persons living in America peacefully and working there, paying taxes. That is what this administration, Donald Trump's regime, has decided to focus on, while it does away with international counterintelligence in the cybersecurity department. So you see how the priorities have been turned on its head, where we have the federal government cutting CISA funding while ramping up domestic surveillance programs for ICE. It is a dangerous place for our government to be. With that said, please keep your eyes out, record everything, put them on social media, follow people who are keeping up with the times. My profile handle is oeishik.bsky.social on Blue Sky and NOONE unscripted on X. And you can also go and search for Rachel Maddow. You can go and search for ABC News. You can go to Google and just search for ICE raids, and it's going to give you a list of it. Look at the dates, make sure that they are current to keep apprised of what is happening nationwide, and pay attention to your local newspapers as well and your local news channels. With that said, watch out for one another, and I'll talk to you soon.